Cloud Peak Wilderness. We'll be camping at Gunboat Lake. We're expect about a 4.5 to 5 hour hike to get in there. Hope to be in there by about 2:30 or 3 o'clock.
Halfway through, weather's good. One more push here, get to Gunboat Camp.
We are at Misty Moon where we camped last year. 7 miles in. 1 more mile until we get to our campsite. That's Cloud. Dad, how are you feeling?
Wonderful. Bighorn Mountains.
More specific.
Gunboat Lake, Fortress Lake, Florence Lake, East Marion Lake.
They can't see those lakes.
Pointing in the direction of the lakes.
This is where we're
Use
camping.
your imagination.
Well, time for our first night out here. It's about 7 o'clock. Tried to fish tonight, but it was pretty windy and it's difficult to really do anything with the lakes that we're around, just with the wind and trying to fly fish. But kind of are all settled in for the night now, and it looks like might get some rain tonight, but we'll see how it goes. Dad, how'd you sleep?
We had an awful night at Gunboat Lake. We went, it started raining about 7. It stopped about 8:30. It started raining again, harder this time with gusty winds, and the winds continued. It stopped raining about 11:30, but the winds continued pretty much till 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Gale force winds. We thought John would be launched into outer space at one point, but we survived. It was funny that we all talked about how we prayed for God to stop the wind, and I guess he did at his time, not ours. So we made it. We're going to do bomber today, fish a little bit, and then we're considering breaking camp up here in Hurricane Alley and moving down to a lake that's a little more sheltered that won't be so windy tonight.
Me, my dad, and John are up on Bighorn Mountain. We found our first pizza wreckage at about 11,800 feet and have kind of found big chunks scattered around somewhere around 12,000 feet, but it took us about 2.5 miles to get up here, of probably 1.5 miles of just straight boulder hopping, but 5 o'clock on night 2. After last night's gunboat wind tunnel endeavor, we decided to pack up our camp and hike out about 2 miles to camp at a lake that's a little bit more out of the wind and a little bit more cover with trees and things like that. So we were able to fish tonight and are hoping to fish some more. So have a new camp location, and we'll hope to hike out in the Just finished eating dinner on night 2 at our new campsite at Lake Marion. Right here is the range that kind of leads up to Cloud Peak in the distance. It kind of gets darker here around 7 just because of how much of a valley we're in. So kind of getting ready for the night and hoping to not have hurricane force winds again.
Morning number 2, this time from Lake Marion. No wind or rain last night, so I think everybody probably got a better night's sleep. Woohoo! We'll probably do some fishing and eat some breakfast, and then probably pack up camp and start our 6 miles to hike out back to the trailhead.
Starting our hike back to the trailhead now. Should have about 6 miles today. We'll probably make some pit stops at Lake Helen to do some fishing. Maybe some of the streams on the way out too. Hiking out about 3 miles down, maybe 3 or 3.5 to go. Hoping to do some fishing maybe down in this meadow. Overall, beautiful day. They're saying storms are supposed to roll in tonight, but looks like we're probably going to beat those out this morning. So awesome hike out.
Alive and well, a little bit out of breath. Yesterday we climbed up to Florence Pass, and then we went up to Bighorn Mountain and saw the wreckage of the plane that wrecked in 1943. Came back down, we fished Lake Florence, caught some nice cutthroat trout, 17, 18 inch cutthroat trout. We went back, we broke camp because we didn't want to stay in the Hurricane Alley last night. We broke camp and hiked down to Lake Marion and camped back up. Fished Lake Marion, had a good night's sleep, not quite as windy, and fished a little bit on our way out this morning, and now we're back to the trailhead, and that's it.
Our final route, we started at West 10 Sleep Lake, hiked up past Lake Helen, Marion, and Misty Moon, then headed east. Camped at Gunboat Lake our first night, which was about 8.5 miles of hiking. Our second day we hiked from Gunboat up to Florence Lake. From Florence we went and climbed Bomber Mountain, found the wreckage somewhere up in here, kind of more on the west side of the mountain. The summit would be further to the east, but we decided not to do that. Came back down, fished Florence Lake, caught cutthroat in that lake, hiked back to Gunboat, packed up our camp, moved camps then to Lake Marion. We camped in this kind of little hill by the outlet of Lake Marion. And then our final day, we hiked back out about 6.5 miles back to West 10 Sleep Lake to the trailhead.